It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, November the 18th. Good morning, one and all. Oh, what a weekend. What a weekend. I guess. Actually, I'm just saying that. I'm kind of drawing a blank as to what went down this weekend. Oh, wait, a few things happened this weekend. Let's talk about it. What do you say, everybody? It's time for your top 5 at 6. Let's not dawdle anymore. Friday night, the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul boxing match for the ages on Netflix. 65 people in America put on that fight.
Million.
What did I say?
65
people.
65 million people.
It was enjoyed by 65 people, I think. Got a picture, actually.
I was thinking to myself, from what I heard, it was the worst thing ever. 65 million people checked it out.
Yeah.
280 million people worldwide watched it. And apparently it was one of the worst fights ever broadcast in any realm in history. I mean, I've never seen more disappointment, not over the result, but over the actual thing in my life.
All the way down to the broadcast, I guess. The Netflix broadcast kept freezing up.
Yeah. Oops.
Over and over. Just all sorts of... Netflix, you ever done something like this before?
They better figure it out. They do have WWE's Monday Night Raw coming up, and they've got a Christmas Day doubleheader of NFL games. You best not have streaming difficulties for Christmas Day football. That's a high holy day for crying out loud.
Yeah,
and by the way, those games... The Chiefs versus the Steelers and the Texans versus the Ravens. Big playoff implications. So, Netflix, get it
you've
together.
been warned.
But believe me, there's a few people right now working OT, making sure that doesn't happen. Number 4 on your top 5 at 6. Anthony Edwards had a great night Friday night in Sacramento as Jake Paul and Mike Tyson were not boxing. Anthony Edwards had 36 points for the T-Wolves, including a few big buckets in overtime to lead the team over the Sacramento Kings. But in the first quarter, a foul was called on Anthony Edwards, and apparently he flipped off a ref. Okay, there's 15,000 people watching and there's cameras everywhere. That's not going to go unsighted, unnoticed. Bring gas down. The NBA announced they're fining him $35,000 for making that, quote, obscene gesture. And I guess that $35,000 goes to charity or something. It certainly doesn't stop Anthony Edwards from thinking about flipping someone off again. I mean, I don't. Okay, great. That's $35,000. But look, as long as he's going to get 36 a night, he can pay $35,000 in fines. He doesn't care.
We're so proud.
Yeah, what's that?
I am so proud. I'm waiting for him to get the double bird next time.
I know. Isn't he adorable?
Yes. It's like, is he
I love him.
The feistiest person since Randy Moss in Minnesota sports?
That's true. Oh, let's not compare him to frickin' Randy Moss. Randy Moss was an athlete. Come on now. He was a superstar, not a basketball player.
I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not going to take the bait.
Bring gas.
Don't get me started on basketball. Okay, you know what? Let's move on. Number 3 on your top 5 at 6. Further evidence that Australia's just got it all figured out. The Australian government is asking its citizens to track their farts. There's an app called Chart. I'm not kidding. Chart Your Fart. Their leading research agency is asking people to track all flatulence over 3 days through a new app. It's totally free. Scientists are trying to better understand gut health. You need to be 14 or over, and they're asking you to record not just when you farted, but to rate the fart's characteristics.
The sound and how loud it was, or if there was much of an odor to it. It's not something that everyone's comfortable discussing, but it is a normal function of the body, and it's healthy. It's a sign that you're healthy.
I mean, how much do they need to know about us, really, the government?
Nah, it's important down there, mate. You gotta make sure your farts are getting noticed about. I mean, I sometimes liken the smell of my fart to that of an eastern brown snake, mate. Very toxic, venomous, one of the most venomous snakes, and I've smelled them up close. Sometimes it's more like a mulga snake. You get those in the outback, mate. There's times when I think about the razor-sharp teeth of a dingo, and I think that fart had some bite, mate, like a dingo. Australians are just always funny, no matter what they say. I can be watching a funeral in Australia, and the eulogy from a heartbroken child. It just makes me that accent. Everything's funny. I don't care what it is.
A eulogy from a heartbroken child.
No, my dad was the greatest man I've ever met, man. I just start laughing. I'm sorry. I can't help it. Everything they say makes me laugh, especially when they're like, we'd like you to chart your fart, mate.
Chart your fart.
Chart your fart. Hey, listen, I'd be more than happy to take part in this. I like when she said, listen, it's healthy if your flatulence is a sign of health. If that's true, I'm like Adonis over here. Good Lord.
You're a role model.
I'm telling you what, roll it out. Number 2 on your top 5 at 6. Guys, it's okay. Fellas, trust me, it's okay. That little situation you're fighting right now, it's already here. It might not feel like the dead of winter, but winter penis is a thing, and it's perfectly acceptable. It's perfectly acceptable if you're feeling a little hindered, if you're not performing as well. Oh, and if you're if Big Jim is like half size.
Well, that makes it manageable for the ladies, doesn't it?
You know it does. As the
Women
temperatures
know about
drop.
shrink.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right.
As temperatures drop outside, male genitalia recede into the body in order to maintain body heat. And that results in restricted blood flow. So during those winter months, guys, doctors are suggesting don't be alarmed. They do call this winter penis. This is this is not. There are plenty of gentlemen who suffer from erectile dysfunction. This is more like, hey, everybody get on board. It's cold outside. Shrink up. Enjoy the effects of not really wondering, should I go with boxer or brief today? It won't matter. Something warm perhaps to, warm it up, heat it up a little bit, make it grow, like a fireplace type area. Think about that. I don't know how that could happen.
Fireplace area.
Yeah, where can I put my winter penis, my Yule log? Where can I stick that?
I don't know if there's a connection between winter penis and tracking your farts, but chances are there is a connection somewhere.
Well, that's how we get through winter penis, by chatting our fats.
I was suffering. I thought it was winter penis, mate, and then I realized now my wife's just farting nonstop.
I'd like to see a seasonal kiosk at the Mall of America called Winter Penis.
Pretty strong. Hey, you know what? Before we finish up the top 5 at 6, good morning to our friends in Arden Hills.
Yeah.
Arden Hills getting a little morning love.
There you go, Arden Hills. Good morning.
Get on there.
How are your hills this morning?
Get your hills in order, Arden Hills. We don't want to have to remind you. Get your hills together. Number 1 on your top 5 at 6. How about them Vikings? Listen, like the man always said, you are your record in the NFL. And right now, the Vikings are 8-2, and we can nitpick all day, and we certainly have, and will continue to. But 8-2 is really, really good. And this team knocked down the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. If not for just a completely unexpected 98-yard touchdown pass from Will Levis in the second half, this game would have felt more like the score would have been more like what it felt like. 23-6 was more how that game felt. The Vikings were in control throughout. Yes, they did not, blast anybody out in the second half. That's not really how they do it. But after the game, Kevin O'Connell talking about it, he feels pretty good about where they are right now.
The sound.
Well, that was the chart your fart audio. Let's get Coach O'Connell queued up and ready to go here this morning.
All right, through 10 football games, you guys are 8-2. All right, you showed up today. Gritty win. All right, responses on either side when we had to have them. We now have hit 2 in a row on the road. Now we go hunting for some more back in our division. You guys understand? Got to start having that look and feel. All right, every single day we go to work to improve.
There you go, Coach. Get them fired up.
Can you imagine if the Vikings were charting their farts?
Well, who says they're not?
True.
So many metrics in professional football, they might be, I don't know.
So many things to bet on.
I mean, the defense is playing lights out. I mean, it's just a great, and you're winning on the road in the NFL. That's just difficult to do, even if you are playing the Jags and the Titans. But the Jags, didn't the Lions play the Jags?
Oh, yeah.
Beat them by 50.
Oh, did they? All right.
52-6 was the
I haven't
final
watched
on
it
that
yet.
one.
Well, spoiler alert. I was going to watch that for lunch
sorry.
today.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I'm kidding. How could you miss it? Well, the Vikes are where they want to be. You know, they've got a wild card spot. You know, if they just play this out, a fairly favorable schedule, they're looking at a pretty solid. I mean, they're number one in the wild card by a mile.
Yep.
So.
The laugh of a woman whose team scored 52 points. That's what we're hearing throughout the morning today.
Who knows? They're probably going to thump the Vikings here at the end of the year.
Good news is the next game for the Vikings is in Chicago. As long as you're within 40 in the fourth quarter, you're going to win the game, apparently. The Bears just cannot win a game that they have dominated all day.
Unless it's against the Vikings in Chicago.
Well, okay. That's
well, I mean,
the
they have a horrible record in Chicago.
Monday morning leftovers. Let's dig in. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talkin' text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Hey, it's the KQ Morning Show. It's Monday, November the 18th. And every Monday we like to offer a poll to our listeners. The Monday morning leftovers, some stories we wanted to get to last week, didn't have time, or something came up along the way. Long story short, last chance. And we're going to give you a few headlines. We'll give you a keyword to text in to the KQ Talkin' text line, and then we will look at the poll results, and we'll give you the top vote getters. Got it? Good. So 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line. Here is your first story. Court bans woman from entering her brother's room to clean it against his will.
If somebody ever sues me, this is going to be the reason.
That's the reason?
Yeah. I frequently am cleaning at my house and other people's houses against their wishes.
If you want to hear that story, court bans woman from entering brother's room to clean it against his will. The keyword is clean. Text that in. The 2024 Toy Hall of Fame inductees were announced. The Toy Hall of Fame in Rochester, New York. We've got your 2024 class. If you want to hear about those, text the word toys. I'm going to take a little breath and prepare myself for what I'm about to say. Your third story. Woman discovers needle left in vagina during childbirth after 18 years of pain.
Oh, my God. Is this a winter penis story again?
Oh, my goodness. Needle knows if that's the case. Woman discovers needle left in vagina during childbirth after 18 years of pain. If you want to hear that story, what's wrong with you? The word is needle.
I really
Text
don't
in
want to hear
needle.
that one.
Something tells me that's going to be numero uno. The next story. We do have audio with this one. Snake in a toilet twice in 1 week.
Well,
for the love of God.
It's good fiber.
It's great. That's what it takes. If you boost your fiber, you'll see that old Mississippi brown snake down there. The word is snake, if you want to hear that story. Here's a new trend we can discuss. Parents visiting their kids at college to party with them. The keyword is party. Not shirking, but rather party.
Hey, kids, I brought some pretzel bites.
Yeah.
Oh,
what the biggest nightmare for any kid that goes off to college?
If it's not a nightmare, then you are already living a nightmare. Put it that way. And then the final story, which you can vote for, the best places for Thanksgiving are, and the keyword there is fly. If you want to hear about the best places for Thanksgiving, that's clearly not your own house, text the word fly. So there you have it. Clean, toys, needle, snake, party, fly. Those are your keywords. Our job is to write haiku using all those words between this and the next segment. So, we've got all that going for us. So we will get to the Monday morning leftovers shortly. But in the meantime, quick reminder, you can find the KQ Morning Show podcast anywhere you get podcasts, anytime you want. And as always, it's sponsored by our good friends at Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies.
Connect with us on the KQ Talkin' text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Monday morning for November the 18th. Let's look back on this day in 1984, which is good, God almighty, 40 years ago, in the Canadian Grey Cup, Canada's Super Bowl, or Stupor Bowl, because they're all clearly drunk when you watch that game. The Hamilton Tiger Cats raced out to a 17-3 lead over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And then Winnipeg scored 44 unanswered points to win the game 47-17. Like I said, they're just playing drunk up there. I mean, all the movement before the snap, the end zones are 700 miles long. The 55-yard line, I watched some Grey Cup highlights yesterday. From yesterday's game, and it's just I've said this for years. It's like chewing foil. It's just like, no, you're doing it wrong. In the words of the great Chet Waterhouse, make sure to visit all the greatness and enjoy all the greatness and wonder at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton. The best 5 minutes of your day. That's exactly what it is. On this day in 1997, Dallas Mavericks forward A.C. Green tied Randy Smith's record of 906 consecutive NBA games. And then A.C. Green went on to set a record which will never be touched, 1,192 straight games. And of course, speaking of never being touched, A.C. Green was a virgin throughout his entire career. He attributed his Iron Man durability to the fact that he was never distracted by sins of the flesh or other things.
Women weaken legs.
Nick.
The man, AC, was a devout Christian. He said, and he always said, I never, ever, ever, until he was married after his career ended in 2002. And he claimed to have never, ever, gone over that line, never crossed the line.
Oh.
He did not smoke or drink alcohol. He would even refuse, when he was with the Lakers and they won several titles, he would not be in the middle of the champagne celebrations because such was his distaste
AC.
for alcohol.
Party pooper.
What? I mean, there's taking it way too far, right? You had a cool thing going on there, but then you had to be a jerk about it.
Yeah, no, he's, exactly. And by the way, the Jerry curl, man, he kept that thing on way too long. That was long gone, and he was still out there greasing it all back.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zep, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, November the 18th. Good morning, and as it is Monday, here's the good news. It's time for some Monday morning leftovers. Now, before we jump in, I do want to remind you, let's see. Oh, that's right. At 7:50, we're giving away some Wild tickets. You're going to want to be here for that. 7:50, Wild versus Vancouver Canucks. You can play a game. You can win tickets. 7:50 a.m. Right now, we set up the Monday morning leftovers every morning. On Monday, we look at some stories that we didn't get to last week. We ask you to text in the stories you want to hear. We have your poll results right now. Number 3, we're going to give you the top 3. Number 3, this took 21% of the votes. A Singapore family court recently issued a partial domestic exclusion order against a woman. This is what the woman was accused of doing and has been found guilty of doing. Entering her adult brother's bedroom at odd hours of the night to clean it. Yeah. These are adults, 2 siblings, a man and his sister. They both obtained court orders against each other. The man apparently physically assaulted his sister. She got a domestic order after he got a domestic order banning her from entering his room.
Yeah.
A third sibling was brought in to tell the court tensions between these two have been rising for years, largely because, again, the sister would enter his bedroom at night to clean it.
But is there a mom or a dad here? I mean, before we get to the court option, or are they just going to sit this one out, I guess?
These people are old enough to where I wouldn't be surprised if they're all over 40 years of age.
Oh.
Yeah, these are adults. These are not kids.
Oh, well, then, send them all out on a boat.
The judge asked the woman, "Why do you insist on cleaning your brother's room?" She said simply, "I need to do this. I need to work. I need work, my own schedule. I go according to my schedule, my free time. I have to be there. I have to go in there when I have my opportunities." This is a woman who's clearly a little troubled. And the fact that she's still living with her siblings in their 40s might lead you to believe, that all checks out completely.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like, she's going in there to clean your room. Go right ahead, sis. Have at it. Sorry about all those, plates under the bed.
Yeah, she said the guy's never cleaned his room in his entire life. She says he doesn't even lift one finger. Failure to launch. How about all of you get your own home? I don't know much about Singaporean culture, by which I mean I know nothing about Singaporean culture, but I do know this: get your own place. You're way too old to be living with siblings.
I bet they have their parents' ashes somewhere in a box in their place.
No, she probably cleaned that up.
Really, that's exactly right. The second story you guys wanted to hear about, getting 23% of the vote. The inductees for the Toy Hall of Fame's class of 2024 have been announced. Now, they narrowed it down. There's 12 finalists every year, and we shared those 12 finalists a few weeks back with you. But now, it's called the Strong National Museum of Play is the official title. We call it the Toy Hall of Fame. I'm assuming strong is a person's name, not an adjective there. So the three finalists for this year: Transformers.
Oh yeah, classic, right?
Pretty cool. After my time, but I had nephews and nieces, and I would sit there and go like, "Well, what's the big deal about?" Ooh, holy crap! Every time, always got my attention. Transformers, congratulations! You've done great work, guys. Even got some movies out of that nonsense. Also inducted this year, My Little Pony. I'm clueless. I missed out on that one.
They're just little horses. They're pastel. They were big in the 80s. This was a big toy when I was a kid. They were pastel. Right. They had little, what we would now call emojis on their hindquarters and stuff like that.
Emojis on their hindquarters.
Still have any?
Wow. Yeah. And is this did they have hair you would brush?
They did have hair you would brush. All right. Shocking that you figured that out.
Yeah, no, I'm remembering. Again, there was a lot of Uncle Steve hanging out with the kids during the 80s. So yeah, it's vague, but coming back.
And then I think in the mid 2000s, you had a lot of bronies or older dudes that were into My Little Ponies.
No.
Bronies.
No. No.
Oh boy. Also inducted this year, Phase 10.
No
idea. It's a card game. It looks like a poor man's Uno to me, or a rich man's Uno, maybe. I don't know how you could have a poor man's Uno. It's pretty much the simplest card game.
Oh, yeah, it does. I just Googled it. It looks exactly like the old Uno cards. Yeah, all right.
By the way, these three beat out Pokemon cards, remote control cars.
What?
Remote controlled cars are not in?
As a general category, not in. Pokemon cards are not in, amazingly enough. And then here's one that I thought for sure, balloons. Just good old-fashioned balloons.
Yeah.
Still on the outside looking in.
Wait a minute. You mean the stick made it in before balloons?
The stick is in. Yeah, the balloons are up until this year, they're the foreigner. They're like, why can't we be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? We're balloons. Everybody loves us. Much like Foreigner. I mean, my God, those first four albums are on fire. It took them this long to get in. So now every time I see any member of Foreigner, I'm just going to picture them blowing up a balloon.
Oh, I was in the Cub Foods parking lot on Saturday and walk in, and here comes Mom with 4 kids and an entire cart full of shopping goods and 4 Mylar balloons. And she gets to the car, and the Mylar balloons got away. And the look on her face, and you want to just jump in. I took one step in her direction. What am I going to do? Leap 50 feet in the air and gather up these balloons? So I stop immediately, and we all just sat and looked at the sky in the parking lot with a collective, I'm sorry.
Good luck on your journey.
I know. I wanted to go in and buy her some more Mylar balloons, but I was broke. So money.
You did nothing.
Man,
no, I did nothing. I quickly turned my back like I wasn't Like I didn't see anything. I didn't want to get involved, Tony.
Right.
Brutal memory of young Connell Gorman letting loose a Mylar balloon, and for the first few seconds of his flight, he was like, "Ha yay, yay, yay!" And then it dawned on him, wait,
it's still, not coming back.
It's getting smaller very quickly.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that boy was devastated. It went right from, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, to my life is ending. Oh, it was awful. Number 1 on your Monday morning leftover, hardly a surprise, with almost half the votes coming in. I'm going to read this headline again, and then we'll go into the details. A woman discovers needle left in vagina during childbirth after 18 years of pain. This is a story. And by the way, this is from The Independent, which is a real newspaper in the United Kingdom. This is not from the tabloids. This is real. A woman in Thailand has been enduring severe pain for 18 years after she gave birth, and during the process, a medical staff somehow left a needle in her vagina.
Hell. Why is there a needle near the vagina? All right, I don't want to.
Well, there was a little bit of stitching up after childbirth happening.
Oh, okay, right, the episiotomy.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time it happened, a doctor apparently tried, quote, using his fingers to retrieve the misplaced needles, but could not get it.
All right, that's awkward.
So they just went on about their day.
Let me get that little. So I couldn't quite get you. Oh, yeah. It slipped, it's getting away from you down there. And then you just go, okay, never mind.
Yeah. She felt constant pain in her lower abdomen. Again, for 18 years. Finally got x-rayed, and they went, oh, hey, there's a needle up there. It's just lodged in your vagina. She had surgery. The procedure had to be postponed several times as the needle continued to move around inside her.
What the hell?
This is just absolute. And this is a woman who has not got 2 nickels to rub together. So they had to get they had to ask for help to raise the money for the surgery. There's no word yet on if she's considering filing a lawsuit. I don't know really how that works in Thailand, but good God almighty.
Just another story of a vagina feeling a little prick.
Oh, speaking of, how come the husband wasn't involved with this? I mean, you don't think anytime in 18 years he didn't get a job? All right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Just saying.
I've already shared more information than I wish I'd had to. But I just don't know how. But, I don't know. We had
the story last week of the kids that were switched to childbirth, and they figured it out a little late, and then like 30 years ago, and no one said anything about it. There seems to be a lot of that going on at the hospital. It seems like we could get away with that if, before I've introduced songs and played the wrong song on the radio, then you'll wait for the hotline to ring, and you're like, well, I'm not going to tell anyone.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not.
I guess that's what it is.
But I'm not your doctor. I didn't leave a needle in you.
Man, that is, I don't know. Ryder, you're awfully quiet over there.
I don't like this story at all.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
She's clenching, like when we do, hitting the balls stories. Yeah.
Yeah. This is 10 times worse than when you have to watch a video of somebody getting hit in the nuts.
Well, let's not be hasty.
Years?
He's on fire!
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right. The sooner we move on, the better. So how about this? Hey, Spring Valley, Wisconsin, you're on our minds right now. Good morning.
Wow, way over there. Here, Spring Valley, Wisconsin, home of Crystal Cave. I did an appearance there for KQ92, I don't know, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. And Sid the Kid and I rode out there on the Harley to Crystal Cave. Some farmer found it out in his field when he was, picking rocks or clearing stumps or whatever back in the day. But it's a fascinating cave. You don't have to drive out to Rapid City or, way over to the hinterlands if you want to check out Crystal Cave. And where did you say, Spring Valley?
Spring Valley, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Good morning.
Yeah, right on.
It is, Noelle. It was nice.
It's fantastic.
I've been to Crystal Cave.
Spelunking.
It is cool. Yeah.
It is.
Hey, man, if you're not learning, you're not living. That's how we like to do it around here. How about this? A plane was grounded in Portugal for 5 days. It's those damned hamsters again. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
AC/DC, You Shook Me All Night Long, right there from Back in Black, the biggest selling rock album worldwide of all time. A bunch of folks in the Azores, the islands that are a part of, I guess, Portugal or Spain. I don't know. Somewhere. Where are the Azores? I always hear about them. I don't know where they're.
In the ocean.
They're by Superior, I think.
North
Shore.
Okay,
North
that makes
Shore,
sense. The Azores are that's right. Okay, now I'm getting it. They're Portuguese, okay? So this makes perfect sense because a plane landed there. It was a Portuguese airliner landed, an Airbus 320, and it's been grounded for 5 days as ground crew are trying to round up some of the 130 hamsters that were freed from their cages accidentally in the cargo bay. A plane lands, there's 130 hamsters that are being transported to a pet shop on the island. There were also some ferrets, there were some birds. The ferrets and the birds were apparently securely in their cages, but 130 hamsters got loose. This is terribly problematic for airplanes because these little razor sharp teeth rodents, hamsters, they love to chew through wiring. Yeah. Cables and wires. Oh, they're thrilled to just chew right through those. And all those systems on an airplane don't work so well when the wires have been chewed through by hamsters.
That's worse than snakes on a plane.
Much worse than snakes on a plane.
I mean, were there people on the plane too?
There were. The plane landed.
Don't put me on a freaking plane with 120 hamsters.
Don't you think that when you get on a commercial flight, you should be able to see the manifest for what's being shipped below you?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of never thought about it, but now I'm like, yeah, you don't know what's in all those packages going on the plane. You're just thinking, I can't wait to see Aunt Dolores. And next thing you know, you're on a plane with 130 hamsters. The hell?
Yeah.
How about a little transparency here?
I don't like it.
The 130, there are still, as of last count, a little over a dozen that they've not recovered yet because, of course, they're hamsters. They can hide. This sounds to me like a real simple solution. Just go grab some snakes, maybe some birds of prey.
Right.
Grab a good old-fashioned Eurasian badger. Just anybody that wants to eat a hamster. Let them loose on that plane for a couple days, and the problem's taken care of.
Some of those gerbilizing freaks that like to do that. You know what? They've got out there in the desert. I don't know if you guys have ever driven past it. I think it's down there somewhere in Arizona. I'm probably wrong. I know we took a motorcycle trip past it about 20 years ago. Have like thousands and thousands of jetliners just sitting out there. It's a big junkyard. Yeah. Put this one out there.
Yeah, I mean, just call it a day. It's over.
Yeah. Gotta get another one. They make them every day. Airplanes.
Richard Gere could not be reached for comment. So that's a pet store, appropriately, not for the storage anyway, but that's a pet store that just ordered up a bunch of hamsters, and that was like no intentional malfeasance. Unlike a dude from South Korea, he was just arrested at an airport in Peru, walking through security, not with hamsters, but with tarantulas. And not with 130 tarantulas, 320 tarantulas strapped to his body.
Those are big. Tarantulas are kind of big.
Well, 285 of these tarantulas were babies. They were packed in plastic tubes. But there were 35 full-grown tarantulas described as being the size of a human hand. He had them stuffed in bags and belted around his torso. Security flagged him when they noticed his stomach seemed abnormally swollen.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, 320 tarantulas. He also had 110 centipedes and 9 bullet ants. Bullet ants are known for having the most painful sting of any insect in the insect kingdom.
Now I want to be on the gerbil plane. Yeah, doesn't it? My God.
Where are you going, bud, and why? The security said they believe that this guy poached them all from the Amazon. He had every intention of reselling them overseas. He was on his way back to South Korea with a layover in France. So you're in South America, you're flying to South Korea, and you're going to avoid the Pacific Ocean, but instead go over to France. Okay, sure. I'm sure it makes sense. I just got to look at a globe, apparently. But that to me is just, do you honestly think you're not going to be noticed? You're not going to be flagged walking through all the x-ray machines and just walking past people whose job it is to notice abnormally swollen abdominal areas on passengers.
If you look nonchalant, maybe you can get away with it.
Man, I guess not. On the KQRS Facebook page, we have a post up. Ever seen someone try to bring something weird through TSA? What was it? Jason wrote, I brought a 12-pack of Grain Belt bottles through as a carry-on. The TSA agent asked me what was in there as it went through x-ray. Jars of pickles from my aunt, I said. He gave a crooked smile and said, have a good day. Can't get Grain Belt in New Mexico. I had to ration them. Now, pre 9/11, I once walked onto a flight from Denver to Atlanta with a case of Fat Tire.
Okay.
The first time mid 90s, I had a Fat Tire beer for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, I've been reborn, and I'm leaving town, and I bought a case of it. And just walked on the plane with it. Like, put it in the overhead bin. You could just do that back then.
The good old days.
The good old days.
Yeah, we had a gal here, a Minnesota mom, who called up and was outraged and really bummed because she was flying to California to see her son. Thanksgiving, how appropriate, that's coming up. And they confiscated her frozen turkey that she had stuffed in her husband's bowling bag.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, she said it would have been thawed by the time she got there. She could have popped it into the oven, but yeah, they wouldn't let her board with her frozen turkey shoved in. I'm sure the husband was like, what the hell are you using my bowling bag for? Frozen turkey, yeah. So I don't know what they did. They had to, order Chinese when she got to California, I guess.
Another post on the Facebook page from Sarah. I flew with my iguana hidden under my sweatshirt.
Why, Sarah? Why?
Many years ago, mind you. So, did you clip the nails? At least tell me that thing didn't just rip you apart while it was flying.
Well, we know what Sarah doesn't have. A wedding ring.
Wow.
I mean, true.
Yeah, that's only funny because it's true. Tim wrote, a bag of dope was dropped in front of us in the line at customs heading to Mexico. I was going through security check on a layover in St. Louis once with my few of my bandmates. And we had flown in from Europe. We're in St. Louis connecting. And I heard, I'm rechecking bags to get on our flight back to Atlanta. And then I hear from the line next to me, my bass player is talking, and the guy says, what's in the jar there? And Johnny says, it's Tylenol. Like, he's got a jar of Tylenol in his bag. And the guy opens it, and he pours it out, and it's like 11 different types of pills in the Tylenol bottle. And he goes, that doesn't all look like Tylenol. What are all these? And then I heard my friend say, man, I'm in a band. People give me pills all the time. I don't know what those are.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, that's the last thing you want to say. But it was too late. And before I could even whip my head around to try to he was being carried off to the room where they take all your clothes off.
Oh, boy, yeah. Well, no, they were all in the bottle. I didn't mule any in. Well, that's the Tylenol variety pack.
Yeah, oof.
You got a PM in there. There's a cinnamon. I don't know.
That was a rough one, man. That was rough. Bizarre things. I mean, I look at it like, if it were up to me, I'd say, you know what? When you get on a plane, you don't have anything with it. You check all your bags, no carry-ons. That's my airline. Steve Airlines is, there's no check. Everything's underneath, nothing above, so we don't have overhead bins, so there's a lot more headroom. You can put much bigger TV screens in there. Think of all the room you'd save without the overhead bins, and everyone just wait at the other side at the baggage carousel like adults.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm grumpy when I travel. KQ Talk and Text Line 651-989-ROCK. Tony, we got a caller.
Yeah, Rich has a tale about a critter on a plane.
Oh, Lord. Rich, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Rich, give me your favorite band.
The best boogie blues rock band ever, Foghat.
Okay. Right. First Foghat. Rich, give me your favorite team, any sport.
Liverpool Football Club.
Well, we've all got crosses to bear. Okay, Rich, let's get to it. What's your story?
You know, my folks, this has got to be early 70s. My folks were down in New Orleans for a convention. So, of course, what's the thing that every parent brings back their child? About a 1.5 foot long alligator in a shoebox.
No way.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So just, I had him in an aquarium for about, 2 months, and then he got a little big, but then he died. So.
They got a nice wristwatch band out of it.
Yeah.
I did not make any luggage or any of that, but he had a nice burial in the backyard.
Man, fair enough.
They're going to find that skeleton 1,000 years from now and go, so we believe there were alligators in Minnesota
That's right.
in the 2000s. This is a fantastic discovery.
Rich, did we give this little guy a name?
Timmy.
Timmy the gator.
No, not your kid.
Timmy the alligator. Yeah, I did not name my firstborn son after my alligator.
All right.
Wow. Very good. Well, thank you, Rich. You'll never walk alone, brother. Enjoy it.
All right. Throw a little flow ride on for me. See you later.
We'll get there.
I like that. Yeah, I went in naively one time. My daughter had bought me a souvenir, one of those little pen knives, and it had my name on it. Right. She was a little kid out on a vacation and came back with Brian on a little jackknife. I went, that's cute. And I put it on my keychain, and they got me at the airport, and I was like, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. They said, well, you can mail it back to yourself. I'm here at Minneapolis Airport. They said you can mail it back to yourself. It had some sentimental value, but I didn't have time for that because I'm always running late. So I just exited the airport and just went to one of those bushes. Used to have bushes out there and the rocks in front. Yeah, I just stuck it in the bushes, and by God, it was there when I got back a week later. So
excellent.
Still got that little sucker somewhere. But yeah, and then Mom almost went through with a handgun one time, but thankfully we intercepted that. Yeah, because Dad sent her to Minneapolis armed.
Yeah, right. As one does.
So she could shoot herself in the foot in case she was threatened.
Accosted.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of stories I don't have any stories of TSA, someone pulling something out like that. But I have the ones where I'm always behind the guy who walks up to the x-ray machine and hasn't taken his belt off yet. And I'm always like, dude. But there was one time I was behind a guy who I was an elderly guy, and he had there's no way he had ever flown because the entire process of waiting in line at security, he asked 100 questions, all of which with a little slight annoyance. And at the very end, before he stepped to the x-ray machine, the woman said, "Sir, you need to remove your belt." Sir. And he had one of those belt buckles the size of a dinner plate. And he stepped back. He kind of like literally stepped about, like almost took a stance, like almost for a fight, and said, "Now, why in the hell would I take my belt off?" And this is like at 6:12 a.m. and the line is just building and building. And before I could say a word, like 6 other people were like, "Take your belt off before the X-ray, you idiot!" I mean, everybody was just turned on it. The knives came out like that, man. He was so bewildered. Now, why the hell would I take my belt off?
I will take my belt off for 2 things.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah, right. That's exactly right. He was not feeling it, man. This was not a man who was happy to travel. This is a similar. There's 2 things I always lump in my head together. There was that guy, and then there was a time I was with Connell, and he was only 7 or 8, and we're in a parking lot downtown, and it was the kind where you'd have to go up to the little machine and enter your parking space and your license plate and stick your card in to pay. And we were behind another person who'd clearly never been out of a very small world he lived in, and he's reading the machine, and it says, you know when you insert a credit card and it says remove card quickly?
Yeah.
This guy stuck his card in there, and when it said remove card quickly, he ripped his card out with all the strength he could muster, like as fast as he could possibly pull it out. And then it said misread. Yeah. And I watched him do this like 3 times, and every time he would pull it out with, like almost throwing his shoulder out of joint. And I finally said, you can just pull it out. It's fine. It's going to read as you swipe. And the guy just gave me a look, didn't say one word. He was just so confused. And I just thought to myself, Hey, it's a wonderful world we live in.
Let's get you back out to the farm.
Yeah, okay. Take it easy
It's
there,
nice
Chief.
and safe, yeah.
Hey, the Minnesota Wild are still playing some pretty good hockey. Did you go Saturday night, Zep?
Yeah, I went out
How
there.
was it?
Lackluster. Hell, I had a good time. Best seats I ever had down in the glass, pretty close to the glass. And
Nice.
no, we had a great time. It was fun, but I mean, a lackluster performance. Battling some tough injuries, isn't everyone now? But they'll get her figured out. I could go on and on, but a great time had by all.
Well, December 3rd, the Vancouver Canucks will be here. We got a couple tickets, and we would love to give them away. If that's of interest to you, I suggest that you hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zep, Tony, and Ryder on Minnesota's classic rock. 92 KQRS.
You know what Mondays mean around here? Well, it is something pretty special usually, and that involves a giveaway. Right now, we'd love to give away some Minnesota Wild tickets. They got the Vancouver Canucks coming to town December the 3rd. We got 2 tickets, and we need 2 callers. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. Callers 9 and 2 will have a chance to compete to win hockey tickets. I see a loaf of bread. I see a toaster. Let's get busy. And whilst we await a couple of eager beavers to get in on the game, what's happening? Cokato, Minnesota.
Cokato.
Say good morning to Cokato.
Well, that's way out west there, and how can it be wrong when it feels so right county?
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know. We've done a fair amount of bird hunting out that way. It's on the way to South Dakota, and have some friends that live out there. So I don't know when we cooked that one up over a few grain belts one night, I'm sure.
That would probably check out. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm looking at Cokato and realize adding it to the list of places I got to go through or stop in at one of these days. I would love to say I've been there, but hey, hope springs eternal.
We'll
I
make
love learning.
a pit stop there next summer. My dad and my stepmom just got a little RV on Lake Cokato at the RV park there. So we'll do some partying on Lake Cokato. I think they're planning to be back in April or whenever the snow melts.
Yeah, well, I hope it's still open over there. Great dinner club called, God, I'm going to screw it up. I hope not. Hook and Bait, I think is the name of it. But
that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Solid dinner club, yeah.
Right on.
It's a dinner club because it doesn't open until 4 p.m. So I learned if it doesn't open until 4 p.m., it's just a dinner club in Minnesota.
Nice. Good to know. This is important. Whereas if it's open all day, it's a VFW.
Absolutely.
That's how that works. All right, so I believe we have a couple of callers who are locked and loaded and ready to rock. Tony,
They are ready to play.
lay it on us, please.
Well, it's Monday, of course, so it's nothing but pure fun and pure stress. We're going to play this, of course. We love toast, so it's time again to beat that toaster. Here's what we're going to do. There's a toaster right here in the studio, really fancy. We pop a slice of bread in there, and then we give you a category that requires some thought, and you list and name spontaneously whatever pops into your head, as many as possible, but you only have 15 seconds to do so before the toast pops. Pops.
Nice.
Pops.
Toast pops. That's right.
All right.
That's exactly what it
let's
sounds
pop some toast. All right, we're ready to rock it, Tony. Who is contestant number 1?
First up is our buddy Dave from Minneapolis.
Dave, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Dave, give me your favorite band.
How about Rolling Stones?
That's a good one. Give me your favorite team, any sport.
Well, no, let's be specific. I'll go the 1986 New York Mets baseball team.
Wow. Fair enough. Man, Mookie Wilson appreciates that. All right, Dave, we're playing Beat the Toaster, my friend. Round 1. It's time to rock it. Good luck to you.
All right, Big Dave. We're feeling kind of Thanksgiving-y because it's coming right around the bend, my Huckleberry friend. So Thanksgiving dinner, what things might you find at the table? Go ahead.
Turkey, ham, cranberry, coleslaw, meatloaf, wine, beer, ice cream, cookies, banana cream pie.
Yeah, can I have Thanksgiving at your place,
Yeah,
Dave?
no kidding.
No kidding. Dave, just inviting the whole KQ morning show over, Dave. We appreciate it.
Solid.
I got 10.
I got 11, actually.
Got 11. All right. I missed one. Dave, wow. 11 is about as good as it gets around here for round one, especially a Beat the Toaster. Mm-hmm. Very well played. Dave, sit tight for a sec. We're going to go on to contestant number 2 for their first shot at this. Tony, who we got?
The lovely Caitlin from Mounds View.
Caitlin, good morning.
Good morning.
Caitlin, give me your favorite band.
Tom Petty.
All right. Give me your favorite team. Any sport.
The Twins.
Nice. All right, Tom Petty and the Twins. A solid combo. Caitlin, it is time for Beat the Toaster round 1. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Caitlin, at your Thanksgiving gathering, what are some things that you should not discuss at the table? Go.
Politics, intimacy, bad cooking, your in-laws, drinking.
All right. Got that last one in there.
Yeah, we'll give you 5. Mm-hmm. Those all check out. Mm-hmm. That's a standard starting first round, Caitlin. Very well played. But, of course, we did hear Dave just boat race that first round. So your work's cut out for you. Let's go back to Dave for round 2. Dave, are you still with us?
Yep.
All right. Very good, sir. Let's keep the hot streak alive. Good luck to you.
All right, Big Dave. Tell me some ways that you might die if you're lost and stranded in the desert. Go.
Dehydration, attacked by a snake, drowned in the sand, exhaustion, oversweating, hallucinating, stop breathing.
That's
yeah.
Those will all do it. What do we got there? Is that 7?
I got 6.
Oh, you got 6. Okay. Right. We got 6. So that makes that makes a total of 17 for Dave.
Wow.
That's real solid work there, brother. Well done. Hang on one sec. Caitlin, it's time for round 2. Let's not sugarcoat it. You need 12 to tie, but we believe you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Watch your language, Caitlin.
Got this.
All right,
Let's
Caitlin.
roll.
It's that time of year. Everything you see is pumpkin spice. If you were to open up a candle shop, what are some candle scents that will not be big sellers? Go.
Black licorice, rotten eggs, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, corned beef, rotten cheese, beer.
Solid.
So good.
Really good effort right there. I got 8. I'm going to call it 9 because I keep coming up one short, apparently. Caitlin, really good effort. That's going to give you a total of 14, which is just shy of Dave's 17. Caitlin, thanks for playing. Dave, you have won the hockey tickets, my friend. December 3rd, Vancouver Canucks. You'll be in the KQ suite. We wish you a fine evening, Dave. Well played.
Thank you.
You got it. Man.
All sorts of pumpkin spice beers out there. Every year someone's coming out with, you run into them all over the place. I did try one. It was a pumpkin spice stout. Local beer. I don't remember who was guilty of that, but wasn't a big fan. I saw at Fleet Farm some years ago, they had pumpkin spice WD-40. I think it was a gag gift, though. Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch.
That is a great touch. Man, I need some WD-40. I keep forgetting to get some, but it's
How do you
a reminder.
keep your joints working if you don't have the WD-40 to spray on it?
That's what I'm saying. Well, they're not. That's my point.
What's the secret ingredient in WD-40? I don't know if you knew this.
Peanut oil.
It is fish oil.
Oh, really?
How about that?
I had no idea. Yeah. And that's supposed to be good for something. I always see like fish oil tablets and stuff. Like
one of those NASA inventions, right?
But probably makes sense.
Yeah.
Fish oil, WD-40, Tang. They're crazy over there. They get it all going on over there. So. So we were talking earlier in the show about crazy things we've seen at airports, things people are trying to get through TSA. A story we didn't get to at Dulles International Airport in Virginia, which is just outside of Washington, D.C. This week, a street value of just under $1 million, 28 pounds of cocaine was found hidden inside packages of hot chocolate. Cocaine was concealed inside 10 packages of hot chocolate. These are big packages if you're hiding 28 pounds of anything inside there.
Yeah.
10 bricks of white powdery substance concealed between layers of coffee grounds and under a double layer of chocolate bars in hot chocolate packages. Now, anybody who saw Beverly Hills Cop knows that you put coffee grounds in your drug shipments to keep the dogs off the scent. That's how I learned all about that.
Right. Dogs know that, too. It doesn't work, I guess.
No. The dogs smell coffee, and they're like, oh, hey, check this out. Look what we have. I walked off a plane in the mid-'90s. It was a flight from Amsterdam to Atlanta with my former bandmates, and we went to the baggage claim in the customs area of the Atlanta airport, and we arrived to find all of our suitcases already off the carousel, lined up in a straight line with a dog circling them.
Oh, see, that preferential treatment for you rock stars.
That's exactly right. So preferential. They were already over all of our suitcases. And we, of course, laughed because we're professionals. We know there's drugs where we're going. We don't have to travel with them. And they didn't find anything, of course. But I'll never forget the idea of like, wow, they knew which suitcases were ours already. They were waiting for us. Good God Almighty. So much for a little hometown love.
You didn't know. You know who didn't know that the drugs were already going to be where they were going? A friend of mine, Brandy, on a show, Ghost Hunters, flying into Jamaica. Their production manager busted for bringing marijuana into Jamaica.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, they had to pay him off so they could continue on. I hope it's okay that I read this, Brandy. I think the statute of limitations probably. But yeah, smuggling marijuana into Jamaica where they practically give it away on the beach.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, you paid him off with the marijuana? Here, this is for you. No, we're not smuggling this. We brought this for you as a welcome gift.
Bunch of crappy American marijuana, but and then Stru could not call in. He's not going to be able to call back in today. But my buddy Stru, the Minnesota legend, got busted with a dildo in his carry-on. It was his wife's.
Sure, it was.
It was his wife's. They called it Mr. Wiggles, and took. It's true, man. I love that you took. I wasn't supposed to use his name. I like that. Sorry about that, buddy.
Mr. Wiggles.
Don't trust me. I'm Mr. Wiggles. Wasn't supposed to use his name. But I like that you took it on vacation for a good time. But packed in his luggage, and it's going off. And so they open up the luggage, and there it is. And she just stood there and did not claim it, I guess. I don't know. That's a nice touch.
That's a party foul.
We had
right.
when Connell was a baby, when he would get if he got laughing, he would always do like this weird. He'd lay on his back and he would wiggle really violently. Like he'd lay on his back and you'd press the bed around. You'd have him bouncing on the bed and he would laugh hysterically. And I started calling him Colonel Wigglesworth. That was his name. And then I developed this whole thing where I don't know what was sleep deprivation, but I would discuss how he had a whole chain of grocery stores, Colonel Wigglesworth, and where always come down because bananas are always free because he loved bananas. It was always like, it's time for free bananas at Colonel Wigglesworth. And he would just laugh and laugh and laugh. And so when you say Mr. Wiggles, I had a nice warm. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. It's my son. It's a vibrator. Okay.
He competed with Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's where it was coming from. A Swedish minister in the government, not a church minister, but a woman named Paulina Brandberg. She's the she's the country's gender equality minister in Sweden. She has a phobia of bananas. This is a real thing. She has posted on Twitter several things about the world's phobia of bananas. It is uncommon, but this is a real thing. Banana phobia. It can be triggered by seeing or smelling the fruit. It can cause serious symptoms like anxiety and nausea. So anytime this woman is at an official event or function, they clear the room of bananas before she enters.
I mean, wouldn't you at least put a Dole sticker on your head just to F with her a little bit?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
my God.
Nothing weird about that.
Isn't there like a whole thing where you can put it's cucumbers. If you lay a cucumber behind a cat and it turns around and sees it, and then it freaks out entirely. Yeah, what's that all about? I keep meaning to try that with my cat. I forgot.
I did try it with my cat.
Did it work?
She just turned around, looked at it over her shoulder, and then was like, "What are you doing, lady? This is stupid."
Oh, really?
There was no jumping or freaking out or anything remotely entertaining. She is kind of old and fat, so that might have something to do with it.
Man, the videos are incredible, though. These cats going out, eating his food, and you just lay a cucumber behind him. He turns around and he just hits the ejector seat. It's unbelievable. I got to try that one of these days. So weird TSA stuff we've all seen. If you can beat Mr. Wiggles, I invite you to try. You can post on our Facebook page or please call us at 651-989-ROCK. Weird TSA. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Weird things people are trying to get through TSA, either ourselves or have you ever seen anybody get busted for something they shouldn't be traveling with? I know a gentleman who was in the process of a pretty contentious breakup, and he had moved out of his own home, and he was getting ready to take a trip, and he called his soon-to-be ex and said, "I want to come by and pick up a few things. I have to go." And she said, "Well, just tell me what you want, and I'll lay it out for you, because I got to be here working, and I don't want to see you, but I'll just put it all in the front room." And he said, "Thanks." And he listed 6 things he wanted, one of which was a specific jacket. And he walked into the house, he grabbed the bag. She had put his stuff in a bag. He pulled on the jacket that he asked for, put it on, walked out of the house, went straight to the airport, went to TSA, and there was a hollow point bullet in his jacket pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And he spent a long time explaining to the TSA people why he would have a hollow point bullet in his stuff. And he did not own a gun. He was like, "I have no idea what that is." And of course, they didn't believe a word out of his mouth.
Weird.
Well, I mean, it's pretty harmless without a gun.
I know, but still, just the idea that she's like, "Oh, I'm just going to slide this into his pocket just to mess with him."
Suspicious.
That's romance. That's hot. That's fire. That's passion.
There's a time in life when everything you said would have been you're right. Oh, she would never do that if she didn't love me. But if you got something weird, if you or someone you know or someone you saw at TSA, feel free to text us or call 651-989-ROCK. The Facebook page has a bunch of these posts. Bizarre traveling stories. Recently, LaGuardia Airport in New York City, which for years was the poster child airport for "we need infrastructure help, let's go." If you ever flew into LaGuardia, it was just an absolute dump of an airport. And I used to always think about that, this is New York City. This is supposed to be, this is the gem. This is the biggest and greatest of American cities. And you'd be at JFK or LaGuardia and just think, does anything work here? What is happening? And they've both had extensive redos in the last decade or so. But apparently, for all that, it's still, at the end of the day, LaGuardia Airport. And some travelers were checking into a Spirit Airlines flight and were surprised to see above their heads, right at the check-in gate, from the ceiling, a raccoon lowering himself into the airport. Just a big-ass raccoon right in the middle of New York, right there in Queens. Fell through the ceiling, dangling from a cord before falling to the floor. And then the animal ran through the terminal, setting off alarms and disrupting all normal foot flow. People were freaking out. There were some videos on Twitter that were pretty funny, or X, I should say. Port Authority representative said the raccoon was eventually captured and released back outside the airport. No, he wasn't. That raccoon was fitted with cement shoes and taken right over to the bay.
I did get a chance to watch this video. The best part is that I think the person who tried to catch him wasn't even a LaGuardia employee. It was just some dude in jeans and a Carhartt jacket, walking over with a trash can.
Sure.
To, put it over the
that
trash
raccoon
can
would have. That raccoon would have tore that man's hand off.
Yeah, I think I might get in the way of an attempted purse snatching or armed robbery before I'd try to track down a raccoon.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Not a chance. Those things are not kidding around.
And some choppers on them.
Oh, hell yeah, they do. And a bad attitude to boot, mate.
And some virus, probably.
651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. I believe we have Tom from Eden Prairie on the horn. Tom, good morning.
Good morning.
Tom, give me your favorite band.
I'd go with Foreigner, going out to Prior Lake Fest and listening to them this summer.
Nice.
Next summer.
Yeah, we'll take it. Give me your favorite team, any sport.
I'd go with the Vikings, I guess.
That'll work. 8-2, pretty stout. All right, Tom, what's your story?
Well, it's pretty simple. I was taking a business trip to the Cayman Islands, and I had a promotional Swiss Army knives, just the little baby ones, but they're $25 a piece, and I forgot about it, and I had 20 in a carry-on, and they said, "Oh, we got to throw these away." And I said, "Can't you just hand them out to you TSA people? I mean, they're just baby Swiss Army knives." But they said no. In the trash they went, and I was out about $400.
Yeah.
Bummer.
So when you were on this trip to the Cayman Islands, did you work for a law firm from Memphis at that time? Sorry,
no.
I'm just thinking of that movie, The Firm. You say Cayman Islands. I'm picturing Gene Hackman down there cooking the books for the mob.
Yeah, clearly some sort of shady business deal, but you don't have to let us in on that. We understand. Smuggling Swiss Army knives.
No, we're not going to accuse you of being a mafia lawyer, Tom. We're not going to do that on the morning show.
That's appreciated. Thanks.
You got it, brother. I completely would have never would have remembered this, but in the 90s, the Swiss label, you get a record deal, you got European distribution, and Swiss Sony, Swiss BMG, whatever companies that I was ever working with, they always gave you a Swiss Army knife. Well, oh, here you go. Hey, welcome to Geneva. Here, we got these, and everybody would take them, and they're amazing. They get a lot of things done. You got a corkscrew, you got a screwdriver, you got a knife, you got some scissors. Hey, who doesn't want a Swiss Army knife?
Little nail file.
Yeah, and I had, I travel with, I got my little doctor's bag, my man purse that I've been traveling with for years and years and years, and I had 3 of those things in there forever. And then, they were taken. And I want to say it was even before 9/11, but at some point, I do remember someone just opening that up and pulling my Swiss Army knives out and just going, "You can't fly with these." And I was like, "Damn, there they are." I was just using them to trim my beard and stuff, but oh well, that happens. I completely forgot about my Swiss Army knife days. Appreciate that. Faceless record company lackey. Hey, I don't remember your name, but the knife was kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. What are you going to do? TSA stuff that's kind of weird. I've got a lot of bizarre travel stories, but I've never. I told this last month. I've never seen anybody with stuff, but I've seen a lot of bad attitudes. I've seen people get pulled just because they're just grumpy and being stupid and why do I have to do this? But yeah, I've yet to see them pull out a gun or a bag of weed or anything cool like that.
Yeah, an iguana under their shirt or something like that.
The iguana under the shirt's pretty strong. One of these days,
I know.
Hope springs eternal.
I love it.
Cindy posted on the Facebook page, my stepdad took a coat rack on board. They just wrapped cardboard around it. My husband took a bunch of antlers that he bought in Jackson Hole where the elk shed their antlers. Mm-hmm. He had them wrapped together with twine, and the ticket agent hunted for a box, and we got through.
All right.
That was before metal detectors, etc. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
Well, what are you going to do? We were going on a flight for a cruise. My eldest daughter had a lighter that was flagged in her luggage. Problem was the lighter was shaped like a pistol. Oh. Yeah. They're going to keep that later from you.
Fun later.
You gotta. It's kind of appropriate. You're lighting lung darts with that thing. It's a bit of a bullet, if you will.
Or a joint.
Or a joint. That's very true. I just assume. I just go straight to the lung dart because I like saying lung dart. Just always. It's one of my favorite nicknames for anything people do.
Yeah. I got stopped getting on a flight. I had forgotten I used a bag my dad had used years previous. I had a switchblade in there. And but then I told him the story. My dad had just recently passed away. That was his thing. And typical Minnesota employees at the airport, they let me just put it in an envelope and send it back to myself.
Yeah.
It was right after 9/11, too.
Oh, my
Kind of
gosh.
jumping right over the part where your dad carried around a switchblade.
Oh, yeah. Well, a few of them. I got a nice collection.
He always carried a switchblade in between his bags of candy.
Yeah. With the peanut M&Ms, you're right.
Yeah.
You come at these M&Ms, I'm going to cut you, bitch.
Yeah, I did forget that my Leatherman, my little multi-tool, speaking of the Swiss Army knife, was in the bottom of a backpack once. And the guy pulled it out. I'm like, oh, my God, that's really embarrassing. Obviously, I can't fly with that. I'm like, dude, it's pretty new. If you want to keep it, I'm not going to mail it back to myself. Mm-hmm. And he said, yes. He goes, but you can keep the case. I'm like, well, thank you. Why don't you just go ahead and have the case with the Leatherman, dude? Thanks. I'm not sure what I could use that for.
I flew into Winnipeg once, and the guy there, whatever their TSA is, the guy at Customs Immigration went through my suitcase, and he pulled out my DOP kit, and he opened up the toothpaste. He pulled out my toothpaste, and he goes, what's in this tube? And I said, toothpaste.
Yeah.
And he put a paper towel on his little desk area, his little table, and he squeezed out all my toothpaste.
What the hell?
Dick.
Just like, dude, what do you think? You think do I look smart enough to get something into a tube of toothpaste? You think I've figured out? You think I have a degree in physics?
He's just messing with you.
Hell, yeah, it's completely just messing with me. Like, man, I wish I could put something in that toothpaste tube. I'd feel better about myself if I could. What is wrong with this guy?
There you are. You're tall. You've got all that hair. He was probably short and bald and just pissy.
Just an old. So much for Canadians being the nicest guys in the world. All right, 651-989-ROCK, KQ Talk and Text Line. We got John on line one. John, good morning. John.
Try John again.
Hello?
Let's go, John.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What have you got for us?
So when I was a kid, my 8-year-old brother liked to play cops and robbers, and he ended up having a pair of handcuffs in his pocket when he went to the airport.
Okay.
My grandmother bus couldn't go any further. She had to leave with the hand. So he couldn't go any further.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was really funny. He had a little badge and everything. Junior lawman.
I remember those.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
70s in LAX.
That's great. John, thank you for the call. We appreciate it.
Junior lawman.
I love the junior lawman. We got Dave on the horn. Dave, are you with us?
Oh, am I ever?
Oh, right on, Dave. First thing.
Long-time listener. Look, I listened to KQ before Tom Bernard was ever even there.
Oh, right on, brother. Well, Dave, first things first. Give me your favorite band.
I'm an old deadhead.
That'll work. Give me your favorite team, any sport.
Hey, I went to the first Vikings game ever played against the Chicago Bears back in whatever it was, 61.
1897.
Bears.
Wow. Dave, you said you're a deadhead. I was expecting the Lithuanian national basketball team, but we'll take the Vikings. That'll work. What's your TSA story for us?
Hey, back in the early 70s, I was best man at my buddy's wedding out in Denver. And I flew out there. I brought a bunch of, good ounce of pot out there to celebrate his wedding.
Sure.
And on the way back, this was during Wounded Knee.
Okay.
In South Dakota.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a nonstop flight, so we stopped wherever the heck that city was out there in western South Dakota. And
Rapid City.
Who gets on the plane? A bunch of FBI agents, some of the Native American guys that were involved in Wounded Knee. They were flying back to Washington, D.C. So I'm sitting on a plane with a bunch of FBI agents, and I'm sitting there with a good-sized bag of pot. I got my long hair, beard, jacket, all this kind of crap on, boy. And I'm telling you, I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, boy, I just hope nothing happens here.
Oh, can you imagine how the FBI agents felt? They're like, well, we've got this Native American thing to deal with, but God dang, there's a good hippie going to waste. We could,
that's right.
I mean, I wish we just had a couple extra minutes to, work him over at least.
Man. But obviously, nothing went afoul.
Nope. I'll tell you the big part. I didn't even have a ticket going all the way back to Minneapolis because I used to fly and buy a ticket for the closest, not nonstop flights. It had multiple stops along the way.
Uh-huh.
So I'd buy a ticket for the closest, stop.
Yeah.
And they didn't check your tickets
and
once you were on the plane.
Back
in those days.
You scammer.
When flying was like riding a bus.
For South Dakota,
Yeah.
We're over in South Dakota from Denver back to wherever it was, some town out in the prairie, and I'm coming back to Minneapolis. And so I'm sitting there. I didn't even have a legal ticket to be flying past that one destination. Yeah. And, I'm sitting there high, bag of pot, looking like an old hippie, and nothing happened. I made it back. No big deal.
Yeah.
I used to just carry on luggage.
Let me ask you, did we
check
talk
any
to
luggage so I could fly, anywhere?
Yeah.
I flew from Minneapolis out to California.
All right.
Buying a ticket for Rapid City, South Dakota. For
Dave.
$26, I made it to L.A.
Dave, I gotta cut you loose, but you know what? If memory serves, we spoke about this with you last year. You told us a similar story. I appreciate you.
Is that right?
Yeah, I appreciate you still calling.
I couldn't remember if I got on the air.
Yeah, you did. So you're still smoking weed, apparently. Great, Dave. Pleasure to hear from you, brother.
No, I'm not.
I'm just kidding around. Thanks for the call, man. We appreciate you listening. What a day. What a time. What a time when they would wouldn't even check your ticket to see if you were supposed to be going out of the next airport.
Right. It's kind of loosey-goosey.
Yeah, I got a buddy, when we were all kids, he talks about growing up in the 70s, and his stepmom was a flight attendant for Northwest, and she just had, vouchers laying around for free flights, and he and his brothers would just go to the airport and just hop on a plane. These are middle school kids. Mm-hmm. Just hop on a plane, go somewhere for 2 hours, walk around, get back on, fly back home.
Nice.
Parents had no idea because they're just out doing stuff.
That's great.
My hippie Aunt Jane from back east talks about in the 1970s, they would sneak onto planes without a ticket and get a ride. Man. Yeah, and not get busted. I'm like, well, those were the days,
Man, those were the good days. Great. You can't get past your stop on a Greyhound bus anymore.
No.
You can't get on a Greyhound bus anymore without, 2 forms of ID and without all kinds,
I can't get into First Avenue without 2 forms of ID. And a background check and fingerprinting.
I like that. You went right from the old bus terminal to the First Ave. I see what you're
right
saying.
Across the street.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, damn. Fair enough. All right. Real quick, this is, by the way, twice in the last 2 weeks, man, airplanes have taken gunfire. There was a Spirit Airlines flight attempting to land in Haiti last week. Took a couple bullets and didn't land, actually. It was on approach. And the flight attendant, they reported that someone just shot through the fuselage of the plane.
No shocker there.
The pilot did a, what do you call it when you keep going? A flyover, whatever.
Flyby?
Fly around. Go around. And he actually went up to the Dominican Republic and landed there. Same island, 2 different countries.
I think it's called a reach around.
He did the reach around over back to the DR for safety. So in Texas, in Dallas, on Friday, a Southwest plane was sitting on the tarmac, and the pilots phoned it in. Apparently, someone shot at a Southwest plane in Dallas.
Yeah, how?
Guys, gals, easy. On the firearms and airplanes. Come on now.
Hog hunting season down there, I believe, isn't it?
Hog hunting.
We got a little bit of the... I can tell you some Texas hog hunting stories. Here we go. Some audio.
I think that somebody from outside the airport shot a firearm at the aircraft.
We like to return to the gate. Need to have an inspection done here on the aircraft.
Yeah, pilot didn't want to take off after that.
No, hog hunting season with a bonus dose of peyote, apparently.
Yeah, they've got
a big one.
They're so overrun with feral hogs down there that you can pay some money, and someone named Zepp may have done this, not myself, but they take you out in a helicopter with a machine gun.
Oh, come
machine
on.
gun.
And you just mow down hogs, and then they take them and give them to food banks and stuff like that. They harvest them and cut up the meat and everything. And yeah, you're not allowed to take it home, I don't believe. But yeah, you just machine gun hogs from a helicopter in Texas.
Nothing more tender than machine-gunned meat.
Well, don't you know it?
Guns or knives? Guns or knives?
What could possibly go wrong?
Right, yeah.
A bunch of yahoos all acting out their favorite scenes from Platoon and Apocalypse Now.
How can you?
No problem.
Oh no, that was
just lead them. Yeah. What is that?
No, I think it was. Was that? I think it was Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. That's it.
Yeah. How can you shoot women and children? You just got to lead them a little more.
That's it, exactly. Trans-Siberian Orchestra is bringing their holiday hits on tour, and you can see them in the city of your choice. Phoenix, Tampa, Nashville, and Atlanta. It is your call. One winner will score 2 premium tickets to the TSO concert of their choice, plus round-trip air, a 3-night hotel stay, plus a $1,000 gift card. Great day in the morning. Text the national keyword lasers to 95819 for a chance to win. The top 5 at 9 is coming up. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
Hi, it is me, Shaquille O'Neal. Hi, it's Shaquille O'Neal. Like I just said, the new Icy Hot Patch is finally here. Introducing the Icy Hot Penis Patch. It's concentrated heat therapy for your dink. Certain areas that are not as insulated can become particularly sensitive. For those times, there is the Icy Hot Penis Patch, and your wang will enjoy hours of warmth and coziness. No more frigid member, no more icicle dork. Your wiener will stay roasted. It's relief that's strong enough for me. I actually have to use the whole package on my package. The new Icy Hot Penis Patch. Put it on, but don't rip it off too fast.
Brilliant.
Keep it toasty.
It's the smartest he's ever sounded.
The addled mind of Tony Lee on the KQ Morning Show. A staple around these parts. It is Monday, November the 18th. Good morning. This is the KQ Morning Show, and right now it's time for the top 5 at 9. Speaking of the Icy Hot Penis Patch, hey, listen. Winter penis is a real thing. It's you have summer, you have spring, you have fall, you have winter, and then you have winter penis season. It's all the same. Winter penis is a real thing, gentlemen. A doctor has warned us, please watch out. A seasonal condition that may hinder a man's ability to perform sexually. As the temperature drops, the male genitalia recedes into the body to maintain body heat, resulting in restricted blood flow. Don't be alarmed. Just keep your socks on. Put another log on the fire. You just got to warm up before you get to. But you got to warm up to warm up. Is basically.
Who are we talking to? 12-year-olds? Who doesn't know this?
It's just one of those
young
things.
Man, have a seat.
But there's a time. You know what? Around middle age, there's a lot of things that are clearly a need-to-know basis because you find yourself going, "Wait, what the hell?" And then there's always an older guy who goes, "Oh yeah, that'll happen."
These days, Steve, we prefer the term cold dick energy.
Cold.
Use winter penis. Goes with our snowballs. Very nicely, I think.
Yeah, I do like that. Winter penis. You know me, I'm always on the lookout for a band name.
Well,
I tell you what, man. You know what? This new band of mine, 4 dudes walk out there. Hey, how you doing? We're Winter Penis. Good to see you. I mean, that's what you're saying is throw your barbs. We don't care.
Yeah, right.
If you want to make a Christmas album too.
Oh heck yeah!
You know what you're going to sell a hell of a lot of? Merchandise.
Oh yeah.
Man, are you kidding?
Yeah, I'm not getting winter penis shirts and hats for the entire family.
Gonna have to add that to the text thread. Here we go.
Well, Seinfeld covered this. You guys remember that scene?
Women know about shrinkage.
It shrinks?
Like a frightened turtle.
Yeah.
Poor George.
A little
like
frightened
turtle.
Many women did not know about shrinkage until that episode. So you have Seinfeld to thank for that.
Wow.
Yes. Well.
Yeah, the shrinkage is you gotta let people know. Otherwise, as what happens with George, they'll get the wrong ideas. They'll just think that's just standard operating procedure, and it's just not the case.
My penis?
the lady's obligation to get the winter penis out of its little shell, out of its little igloo. And
See, I was picturing it more like Groundhog Day. Like, I'm just like, I wonder if I'm going to see my shadow. I'm going to retreat back for 6 more weeks.
Oh, say bye to my penis for the winter.
On your top... Hey, man, you know what? Or then go with a hibernating bear motif. That's probably better. This grizzly's got to take a long winter's nap.
Hey.
Number 4 in your top 5 at 9, Anthony Edwards has been fined $35,000. Why? Because, Friday night in Sacramento, he flipped off an official. Didn't say a word, just lifted his middle finger. Well, they're saying it was to somebody, but it was right after a foul had been called on him, so I got to assume it's the ref. The NBA said, oh, no, you have to pay $35,000 for that. What if a kid saw you do that?
Oh, whatever.
Please. $35,000 for flipping a bird. Could do a lot worse, in my opinion.
Bring your ass.
That's exactly right. Bring your ass. $35,000 to Anthony Edwards right now, about the equivalent of a bag of peanuts. I think he's going to be just fine. Number 3 on your top 5 at 9, the Australian government has given a leading research agency full jurisdiction over Australian farts. Yeah, you heard me. They're
taxing them?
They're asking citizens across the nation to track their flatulence for a 3-day period. They have a free app. It's called Chart Your Fart app. And they're asking people quite sincerely to every time you let loose, anytime gas comes out of the 6-hole, open the app and explain exactly what happened. Here's a little bit of one of these Australian, one of the leading researchers explaining what they're looking for.
The sound and how loud it was, or if there was much of an odor to it. It's not something that everyone's comfortable discussing, but it is a normal function of the body, and it's healthy. It's a sign that you're healthy.
Crop dusted the entire aisle 5 at Target yesterday.
Attaboy.
One end to the other, fairly quiet, but effective.
I've often said, look, if you see me and think, I'll get in an elevator with that guy, you had it coming. Just come on. There's an app you log in, and it says it's like that you put in the time you passed wind, but then the characteristics chart the stench. It goes from odorless all the way to toxic.
Okay.
The loudness goes from silent to deafening. The duration, it scans from brief to eternity.
Oh, yeah. I need to wipe.
How long the smell lingered. Fleeting to perpetual.
To it's stuck to my teeth, kind of, yeah.
And then also it's detectability. Discreet to blatant.
This is going to be fun on the road trips, isn't it, with the family?
I can tell you this, and I'm not saying this necessarily with pride. Yeah, of course I am. I wouldn't say it otherwise. In 9th grade, in my friend's mom's station wagon with like 6 other people on our way to the bowling alley, I let one go that I promise you, everybody in that car still talks about it, because the windows had to go down. There was very close to, there were threats of I'm going to throw up now. And then we left. We got out of the car, went into a bowling alley for a solid 2 hours, came back, and the car still smelled brand new.
You're a hero.
And it truly was. I mean, and this was a mixed crowd. This was boys and girls. And it was so over the top. I could do nothing but just laugh and go, it's a good one. Sorry. If I'd known, I couldn't have stopped it.
It's nice to be remembered.
I guarantee you. I'm telling you. Number 2 on your top 5 at 9. Speaking of farts that lingered, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul had a fight on Friday night, and apparently none of us saw it because we were all rocking out at First Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, quick. Hey, that Golden Smock Show was kind of fun.
That was awesome.
Hell yeah, it was.
Glad. It was great to have you guys all there, and by you guys I mean Ryder and Zepp and Tony all made the scene, but everybody out there who made it to the gig too. It was a great night. Everyone really enjoyed it. The after show, couple days of texting from the band, and it was awesome. It was great. Nice. Very, very cool. Great crowd, great night. But while that was happening and we were all having our fun, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson were boring the living snot snot out of over 65 million Americans who got on Netflix to watch what apparently amounted to a whole lot of nothing.
I don't want to watch what a 58-year-old looks like in the ring. That hits a little close to home, you know?
Yeah. As we said on Friday, yes, we go in there and knock him out quick, Mike, because I don't care what kind of shape you're in. 58-year-old men are not supposed to be boxing. And so apparently that's the case. There's already people saying like, oh, they just did that. They agreed to have a bad fight so they can build the rematch. I don't think that rematch would work based on what everyone's saying. So, all things come to an end. And for Mike Tyson, his days as a great fighter, that was about 34 years ago, if memory serves. So not sure why we all allowed ourselves to care about that fight, but we did.
I mean, he still walked away with like $20 million, right?
I understand why he cared about it. I don't understand why we cared about it. Number 1 on your top 5 at 9 is going to wait for one quick second because I need to say good morning to
Chisago City.
I see every time I started to go Chisago City. What's happening up there? Good to hear from you, Chicago City. Let us know. We're thinking of you, and we want to wish you a very hale and hearty, happy Monday morning.
You can't. Yeah. Okay, you'll find a suite or two up there.
A suite or two.
You can't fart in Chisago City without getting a disapproving look from a Swede.
Man,
what's happening? What's going down? What it is?
That's your T-shirt. Chisago City. Keep your farts to yourself. Number 1 on your top 5 at 9. What about those Minnesota Vikings? I don't care. Nitpick all you like. 8-2 is a hell of a record for a team that nobody felt good about coming into the season, especially with Sam Darnold as the starter. They go down to Tennessee, second of 3 straight road games, and beat the Tennessee Titans 23-13 in a game that really wasn't as close as that score. But boy, Kevin O'Connell felt pretty good about it afterwards.
All right, through 10 football games, you guys are 8-2. All right, you showed up today. Gritty win. All right, responses on either side when we had to have them. We now have hit 2 in a row on the road. Now we go hunting for some more back in our division. You guys understand? You got to start having that look and feel. All right, every single day we go to work to improve.
That's a hell of a pep talk. I hope he charted that on his app or crap or whatever it was, the fart app.
This coming August, I will turn 60, and I still laugh every time someone throws in random fart sound effects.
I know.
And when I'm 90, I'll laugh even harder.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll know at 90, that laughter is going to help me get this gas out of my body.
If I could just time it at the same time.
Exactly how that's going to work.
Well, hey, listen, it was a good win, and I think Darnold did all right. I read that Justin Jefferson, is now statistically, yardage-wise, the greatest wide receiver in his first 5 years than any other receiver. Owns that.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, pretty incredible, and did it with the Vikings. Did it, last season. Mitch missed a bunch of games, and then had to go through that, Russian roulette of quarterbacks that we had last season. So hats off to Jefferson. Made some great plays. And the defense showed up big and bad, and they're coming into a not a horrible schedule. So rock on.
No, they're rolling. So I moved here from Nashville, Titans fan, so I didn't have to change channels yesterday. I got to watch the 2 teams I follow. I was 100% cheering for the Vikings because I'm like, no, Titans suck. Please go get a number 1 pick because this season is a lost cause.
Yeah.
Riders Lions scored 600 points yesterday against the Jacksonville Jaguars, apparently. And quick shout out to Brian Zepp's Pittsburgh Steelers, who have taken control of the AFC North. Wow, I did not see that coming.
I think the fun part of the week was watching all the prognosticators say, well, the number 1 offense in sports, you've got, that was the Ravens, of course, and then with Russell going off there in Pittsburgh, this is going to be a high-scoring affair. I've been watching the AFC North for a lot of years. There is no such thing as a high-scoring affair between the Steelers and the Ravens, and so it ended up like it normally does, with the offenses getting the hell beat out of them and a bunch of field goals winning the game, but we'll take it.
Yep, no question about that.